Hi, hello. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you back with us. Matthew James Tax Reduction Hotline, as always, 844-766-6607. Back by popular demand, and because we didn't talk about a subject, Jason, Jason Isaac joins us again. Uh, I can't help it. I had you on and we leave it and you go, oh, don't forget we talk about Biden. I'm going, yeah, we kind of were supposed to do that and to forget it. I get carried away with you talking about all the things we can talk about, so I apologize to you. But I couldn't wait to get you back on. And let's talk about what Biden's doing in the Gulf of Mexico and walking out and look like he's got a blowtorch and he's trying to learn everything he possibly can. And I don't understand that about people or parties, why they hate America so much. And what he's trying to do is that's hating America in my book.
Yeah, it really is. And I think the Democrats are the ones that are running the operation and probably have been for the last 4 years. I don't know if Biden's got the mental ability to sign a piece of paper, let alone stand up for longer than 10 or 15 minutes. But he is really sticking a middle finger to the American people on his way out the door and trying to make things as bad as possible in the hopes that they can win elections in 2 years and 4 years. And I hope Americans have a long memory over the last 4 years and remember that in 2 years' time and remember that in 4 years' time, that we don't want to go down this path that we've been down before that just targets American energy. But he's got this power in the Continental Shelf Act where he can basically say no more offshore drilling on these federal lands, mind you, which would pump more money into the federal government. And wouldn't it be great if our energy was producing revenues for the federal government and maybe you and I could keep more of the money in our pockets instead of having to send it to the federal government? Maybe we could reduce our debt significantly. But this is going to be a tough one to undo. A judge has ruled, I think in 2019, that says that you just can't come in and sign a piece of paper. So Trump can't come in and just do an executive order. This is going to take an act of Congress to change this law and free up these federal lands for energy production. We don't need to be doing more production in Venezuela and Iran and Saudi Arabia and Russia. We need to be doing it more here in the United States where we produce it more responsibly than anywhere else. And especially we need to be doing more of it here in the Gulf of America.
Yeah, well, one of the things, and I've tried to tell our audience the same thing. So people say, well, you do an executive order, you can come in and do what you want to, and next one come in and do what they want to. I said, that works sometimes, absolutely. But that's not reality, and this thing he's doing with oil and gas is not reality that Trump can come in and do it. Now, here's the thing that we're going to see, and I think you agree with me, Jason. We talked a little bit about this the other day, is that how much trying to be nice here. How big are the gonads to the Republicans to come together and say, oh, no, we're going to do this immediately with all Republicans voting for it? And what I think you do, you show that the Democrat Party hates this country. Because what they're doing is, I mean, they had the Lincoln Raleigh deal the other day, Lincoln Raleigh, okay, to protect kids, to protect people. He had 159 Democrats vote against it. That don't make any sense. So you got people that are going to vote to hate the United States of America, and it's the Democrat Party. Nobody has stood up against anything Biden's done. Not one.
No, they haven't, and you're right. It's absolutely appalling to see some of these decisions that are being made from the left. They want people dependent on the government, and when we have economic prosperity and we're producing more energy, then people don't need the government. We don't need them for our health care. We don't need them to provide food for us. We don't need to provide electricity and fuel for us and force us into EVs. We need independence and economic prosperity, and we don't have that when we have leadership on energy, when we have leadership on the economy. And Democrats hate that. The Democrats, they really want us dependent. They want to control every aspect of our lives. They want this one
But
world government coming out of the World
yep.
Economic Forum, and it's evil.
But Jason Isaac, CEO and founder of American Energy Institute. But what I don't understand, what country can they point to where the government took over everything that's prosperous for their people? Can you name one?
No, that's the definition of insanity, trying the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And I think some people on the left are just so dumbfounded that we'll get this right. We'll be the ones that get this right. and it's just, it doesn't work. As Margaret Thatcher said, ultimately you run out of other people's money, and that's what's happening.
Well, let me ask you a question again. President Trump wants Congress is called in. He's sworn in. And by the way, we got 10 long days, 10 long days to wait for him to be sworn in. Why shouldn't the Congress meet and on stuff like this vote immediately and have all the Republicans line up and pass it and shove it back down the left's throat? That's what they ought to do on something like this. Everything he walks out the door, doing. He gave, Social Security. He's done a lot of stuff that you can't reverse.
Yeah, you're right. And unfortunately, some Republicans are playing the political game, and they're like,
Oh yeah.
what can I get for the district that I represent? What can I get? And so they're like, well, I'll hold out on supporting this measure so that that I can get something to take home and tell people about, look at all the money I brought back into the district. Well, I want a politician that says, look at all the money I put back in your pocket because I wasn't out blowing it on pet projects and corporate welfare in DC. And that's what we need. We need these bold conservative leaders to step up and reduce the size of the government, constrain the growth of government forever. A balanced budget would be a wonderful thing to implement. And that's what we need. We need leaders to step up. And I think the electorate is more engaged than they've ever been. This is something I've noticed in my involvement over the last couple of decades being involved in politics. People are more engaged than ever, even at the state and local level. And some of these politicians just can't handle it. They can't handle the pressure, and they're not running for reelection. They're getting out of office because they're actually being held
I know, but
accountable, and I love it.
Jason, you're a lot closer to it than me. I say you are. Well, you're in Texas. I'm in Louisiana, but you do spend time up there. I don't understand why we make it hard in politics to do the right thing. That's the part that if you look at energy, which touches everything that if you're sitting in a chair, if you're driving a car, talking on a cell phone, you're eating, you're fishing, whatever you want to do, energy is affected. Why would you want the United States of America first to be energy free, and number two to make it as cheap as they can, which makes everything else cheap? Now that's a common sense, plain Jane, everybody can understand. These elected officials don't see it that way.
No, they don't. And they need to get together right away, like you said, and go big. And put Trump's agenda in on really day one. I mean,
Day
the
one.
Senate's already meeting to confirm his nominees for the cabinet, which I think is good. I don't want to see any slow rolling of that. I'm hearing rumors that some of that's going to get slowed down a little bit. That doesn't need to happen. But they do. They need to get in there. And then if they've got something that's important for their district, file a bill, work it through the process. Don't piggyback it in some pork and some other bill. Let's get this agenda done. Let's reduce the cost of energy. Let's get back to economic prosperity. We've already got the environmental leadership locked up. We've done that. Now we need to just get back to helping people reduce the cost of energy. Could be the most transformative thing this country's seen in years.
Jason, that's so simple. I think it's that simple. They make it complicated, and you're right. It makes the Republicans and Trump look bad. You put together the bill you're talking about, and then you add a $500 billion in spending on crazy crap you don't need. You can cut a deal and run it through something else, but don't run it through a good. You see what I'm saying? It makes you look, what the hell are you doing what the Democrats did?
Yep, you're right, and I hope we don't see that. I hope we see some people get in there and they get rid of the EV mandate. I hope they overturn this ban on tankless water heaters, and then they need to pass a bill to overturn Biden's ban on offshore drilling. If we're going to make,
By the way,
go ahead.
I'm laughing. You've got me laughing because I thought ban on tankless hot water heaters. I got a tankless hot water heater, okay? And I have a generator that runs on natural gas. They're trying to kill me. I didn't spend a lot of money to put that stuff in my house. They're trying to destroy me.
They really are. They've realized that we've destroyed the grids around this country and making sure that electricity is really expensive and it's unreliable. And so people are having to cut back and they're having outages. And so what do people do? They go in and they put generators in their homes, and now they're going after those. They say, oh, I'll get more efficient. I can afford to get rid of my water heater with the big tank, and I'll go with a tankless water heater. It's much more efficient, uses less
Yep.
energy, and now they're going after those. They're just going after
Hey,
prosperity at every single angle.
Can you hold one more short second?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, always a pleasure. Jason Isaac, CEO and founder of American Energy Institute. Go to his website, check out all the good stuff that he's putting out there. We'll take a break, be right back, and wrap up with Jason. He's a smart guy. Now, he's been all over Fox, been all over the national news. He's used to be a representative. He founded the American Energy Institute. The people he represents, he has no ties to anybody. He also sat on the board. Donald Trump, one of the boards that put like big energy. He gets mad at hell. That carbon capture thing. All says it too. Yet he represents it. I'm gonna bring that up. They got something on them. Not they give you the give you the stuff to go with that and rice beans, uh, rice yellow. I cannot go to a restaurant. I'll pay $10 for lunch. Oh, I got news for you. I tell my wife all the time I'm gonna quit eating out lunch. I spend all my money. Yeah, we eat out sometime at night. Is that a 4 minute break? I want to know if that was a four. Gotta be got to be 4 minutes. Nobody's gonna be back here. You gotta tell Joe that's the second time I think it's happened. Gotta be a 4 minute break. And I'm just hoping everybody got the damn. It's always 4 minute breaks. Hi, hello. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you back with us. 844-766-6607. If you'd like to be part of the program. Anyway, Jason Isaac, one of my favorite guests, of course, CEO and founder of American Institute, is joining us today. You know, Jason, before you had on earlier today, I had some guys on talking about this stupidity of carbon capture. And they got some people. Well, they got people fighting it here. They're gonna make Louisiana a dumping ground for the whole country. But the bad part about it is, and it really is the bad part about it is, we got people taking that money in oil and gas industry and chemical plants, and people coming in here talking about building this stuff and put all this stuff underground. And this is not a big state. We got aquifers. They want to run it on the aquifers and the water system. They want to run it out in the marsh, and this is sick. But yet you can't argue with nobody on it because they're not arguing with you. They're taking the money, and they also claiming the EPA is forcing them to do it. Now there may be some truth to that, but I don't think you ever have to take money. I could be wrong on that, but I don't think you have to take it.
No, you don't have to, and that's what's great about. It's what I'm so blessed is I get to represent American energy producers, companies that are primarily in the oil and gas, coal, and nuclear space that unequivocally support free markets and are opposed to these political agendas like decarbonization and net zero and ESG and
Mm-hmm.
DEI. These things that don't do anything to mitigate a changing climate just make everything more expensive. Don't want the corporate welfare, the grift from all these taxes and credits that they're giving out. I mean, direct cash payments for
Yep.
carbon capture. It used to be you got a tax credit of $50 per ton. Now they're offering up to $185 direct cash payment of our money to these companies. It's the only reason companies are doing it. I think if the Trump administration gets in there and gets rid of these inflationary subsidies, within days, these companies are going to get out of the stupidity of carbon capture. It doesn't do anything to mitigate a changing climate. As Senator Kennedy asked a DOE official there in Louisiana, what does it do? What does it do? And the guy wouldn't answer him. And Senator Kennedy kept repeating, "You don't know, do you? You don't know, do you?" Well, I do know what happens if we go to net zero based on the models the UN is using. It does nothing. It's less than 1/10 of 1 degree. If we eliminate CO2 from the atmosphere, our emissions here in the U.S. by 2050, that temperature differential, again, 1/10 of less than 1/10 of 1 degree by 2100. It's around 2/10 of a degree globally. So that does absolutely nothing for the temperature the increases that people are concerned about that aren't happening when you focus on CO2. And that's just what they've done. They've realized that, oh, the CO2 is it's what's leading to prosperity. We've got to get rid of it. They want to get rid of everything emitting CO2, including humans. Keep in mind, we are emitters of CO2. I live a high carbon lifestyle. I think the rest of the world should too. It's absolutely stupid when you demonize a gas that's just a trace gas in the atmosphere that's necessary for life on Earth.
Did you did you see? I don't know if you saw it. I know you watch a lot of stuff. I'm not gonna be surprised if you did. Somebody was on one of the shows the other day, and they said that if you all these fires that we're having in California, if they would have had nothing but electric vehicles for the last 5 years, that's how much carbon is being put out. In other words, it does nothing because look what just happened.
Yeah, it's taken merely a couple of days for California to put, I think, 25 years worth of California CO2 emissions back into the atmosphere, and so their goals, they're spending $39 billion on green new scam stuff in California. That was a reduction from 45, and then another reduction from over $50 billion because they realized they just didn't have the money to blow on this scam, this climate hoax. So $39 billion. They spend 200 million on fire prevention. It's a laugh. It is not a priority. The legislature, the assembly in California is meeting right now to Trump-proof California. That's the words of their governor that called them back. They're trying to Trump-proof California. I guess they mean that they just want it to burn and be
Yep.
poor and have no economic prosperity. I guess that's what Trump-proof means. They should be fireproofing their state. This is on the hands of their leadership. It's absolutely
Oh
appalling.
no, no, that is all on their leadership. Look, a fire can start anywhere. California has them all the time, fireworks, whatever. Uh, this is all on the way they handle government. They deal with this Green New Deal, and look at the problem they're having now. It's so sad to watch because you know as well as I know a lot of innocent people who don't vote right, but they're innocent people in the fact that they don't kind of know what's going on. And look what they've done to this country, I mean, to that area, man. That's phenomenal when you watch what's going on.
Yeah, I was on Trace Gallagher last night on Fox News, and at that time, 5,300 structures have been destroyed. They're gone. People are losing their lives. It's really sad, and unfortunately, they're not going to be able to rebuild. I mean, insurance companies are only offering them, 3 months for places to live. It takes a lot longer
Yeah.
to build a house than 3 months, especially
By
in
the
the
way,
regulatory climate in California. You're not going to be able to get permits in 3 months.
no, Jason, they showing now earlier that 10,000 structures. But
Wow.
I believe that if fire's going so fast, but if it's 5,300 to 10,000, either way, it's pretty bad. And Jason, I'm hoping President Trump's gonna move pretty quick on this. I do not care to see another solar panel farm go up on my tax dollars.
Not
You
out of
know,
my pocket.
I'm you know me. I want a ice storm or a hurricane or something to wipe them out, and I mean wipe. I do. Somebody said, "Well, hey, are you talking about me?" I said, "No, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about my money. If you're gonna ruin it, then I'd rather it be destroyed." Nobody's. Jason, let me ask you a question. You go to Washington, you think you can go lobby for them to pay the Moon Griffon Show about 150, $200,000 a year? Just send me a check for the next 10 years, and you would. I know you're laughing, and you would go, "Why would I do that?" Well, why are we doing that?
Yeah,
Ain't it no different?
there is a lot of people that do that. A lot of people that do that that are just people that's another stream of revenue from the taxpayers. I mean, I've heard all these climate grifters at conferences. I've overheard them talking about, oh, we've discovered 9 streams of revenue if we do this because we can get it from this company, BlackRock. They'll give us money at low interest rates. The government will give us a subsidy here. The state government, the local government. I mean, they're just counting their tax dollars, and that's why I hope with this Department of Government Efficiency and President Trump can get rid of this inflationary subsidies and corporate welfare, these projects that don't make sense. Let's just do a cost benefit analysis without using tax dollars. And if it doesn't make sense, don't do it. But if you're so wealthy you want to blow money on it, go for it. Be my guest. Put panels on your roof, put them on your land, generate electricity for yourself, but don't be a parasite on the grid and expect me to pay for it.
I mean, have you ever heard of the solemn public relations?
I have not, no.
Well, no, they said it to me. Said the wildfires in Los Angeles are sadly the latest tragedy, the string of increasingly common natural disasters. I'm sure it's one of these liberal groups. I'm laughing at it while I was talking to you. I looked at it. I said, "Oh God, do you want somebody to come on the program?" I thought, "No, I got somebody to come on the program that'll tell us the truth."
Yeah.
Gee whiz, I
They're
get
not
this kind of
managing the
stuff all the
forest.
time.
Yeah, they're not managing the forest there. This is something Gavin Newsom was saying in 2019 he was going to do this, and he didn't do it. I was looking at headlines from 1938. It happened then too. They experienced periods of dryness. A lot of rain followed by a lot of dryness. During that rain, brush grows up, then it dries out, and that's when you've got to get in there and manage the forest. And they're not doing it. They've run timber companies out of California. Nobody manages forests better than timber companies. Nobody manages the land better than oil and gas and coal companies. Our mining industry, they do a better job than government ever has and ever will. And they just need to embrace that in California, and they're not.
Yeah, and by the way, when all this going on, I did notice that some of the celebrities who had a lot of money, I'm talking about a lot of money, big homes, mansions, and all that burnt to the ground, are now blaming their government. And they're even talking about trying to save a fish or earthworm. They're mad.
Yeah.
They're mad as hell. You think they're going to wake up? Or they got enough money to risk them, they'll just move out and not worry about the small guy that's going to have to stay there.
Yeah, and then the homes that have been evacuated that were spared fire are being looted right now. There's violent gang criminals, hundreds of violent gang criminals. These are completely coordinated from Mexican cartels, are going through these wealthy neighborhoods and looting homes that have been spared the fire, but people aren't there. I mean, this is just an absolute point, but that's what happens when you have leftist open border policies that don't care about protecting the environment. And California could really care less about that. And you can see that in their actions. They want to spend billions of dollars to put wind and solar up, but they don't want to
Yep.
spend any money in fire prevention or actually protecting the lands.
By the way, last question. It's kind of a good question. It's kind of funny. I like the sounds of Gulf of America. How about you?
Yeah, I'm with you. I thought we were going to go Gulf of Trump, but I'm good with Gulf of America. We need more energy production in the Gulf of America. There's no doubt about it.
I think it ought to be called Gulf of America. I love the idea. It sends a message to Mexico too. But I think Gulf of America. I just think it'd be cool.
Yep, I'm with you.
All our seafood comes from the Gulf of America.
There you
Sounds
go.
better too.
I love it.
Jason, you're always a blessing. Thank you, my brother.
Thank you. God bless.
All right, brother.
Bye.
All right. All right, that's it. For some of you, moongriffon.com, listen live another hour to go.